I can't hear. I mean, it sounded just the same in my headphones.
All right, now you're live.
All right. Now we're at the scoreboard show. It's Dickey Electric Scoreboard Show. Week 5, we got you covered with all the scores from Week Five's game. We're on a little bit late because Liberty and Brookfield went into overtime, and they ended just a little bit ago. Brookfield gets to win 41 to 39, I should say, after stopping Liberty's 2-point conversion in overtime to win that game. Let's go over the scores here. Archbishop Hoban gets to win 35 to nothing over St. Ignatius. A big win for the Knights as they beat the same team that Austintown Fitch went to double overtime against last week. So man, the Knights are putting together a really, really impressive season when they're able to go in and beat St. Ignatius on the road handedly like they did there, 35 to nothing. Knights get the win. Jackson Milton and McDonald played a really good game inside that MVAC Scarlet tier. Jackson Milton had the ball late. They had a couple of first downs, and they were able to knee out the clock and not give McDonald the chance at the ball back again. 28 to 21 final score. Jackson Milton gets the win and gives McDonald a 2-game losing streak. Garrettsville Garfield still as dominant as ever as they win big over champion. Big win for the G-men. Niles and Lakeview. It is Niles tonight with a big win, 31 to nothing over the Bulldogs. Tough one for Lakeview after being so competitive against South Range a week ago. We thought it might be a good one in Hanoverton. It was for a little bit, but then United, they pull away 35 to 14, the final score there. LeBray handles Newton Falls 41 to 7. We have Wellsville and Latonia. This game ended because of power issues at the stadium, but 14 to nothing. Wellsville gets the win. That is a final and it is an official game as they win 14 to nothing. The Tigers beat the Bears. We had Poland. They went all over Hubbard 53 to nothing. Final score there. Canfield and Cheney, big win for the Cardinals as they take care of Cheney's defense. It was so good the last 2 weeks. 35 to 14, the final score there. We go into Salem as they fall to Padua Franciscan. Final score there was 38 to 21. West Branch takes care of Howland 49 to nothing. Middle Ridge, they take care of Waterloo. Final score there 47 to 12. We go to Brookfield, like I said, in overtime, beats Liberty. Final score there was 41 to 39. Brookfield gets the win over Liberty in overtime. They get a stop on the 2-point conversion to clinch the victory there. Columbiana, they get a narrow victory over Lisbon. Finally, the Clippers are able to win a close game. Got to feel really good for them going into week 6, knowing that they finally sneak out one of those close game victories. 28-21, they went on the road against the Blue Devils. Lutheran West, they take care of Jefferson. Final score there, 42 to 13. We go to Lakeside, who falls to West Geauga. Final score there, 35 to 12. South Range found themselves in another wild one inside the NE8. They score with about 20 seconds left on the clock to win 37-33 after Struthers took a late lead by 3 earlier in the game. East Palestine put up a heck of a fight against Valley Christian, but in the end, the running game of the Eagles just too much. 28 to 13, they beat East Palestine, but a lot closer than I think a lot of people thought that game was going to be. Crestview gets the win, 44 to 20 in the first win of the season for the Rebels. Fitch all over Stowe Monroe Falls, 41 to nothing. Final score there. Grand Valley gets the win in overtime, 20 to 14 over Wycliffe. That was another exciting game. Ended pretty early for an overtime game. It was over well before Liberty's overtime game against Brookfield. And then we'll scroll over to the last column as we have Riverside beating Boardman 52 to 21. Final score there. East Liverpool falls to Harrison Central. Final score 32 to 19. Edison, they get the win. They're 5-0, 42 to 14. Wildcats still dominant in their schedule. Akron East wins over Youngstown East. Final score there was 20 to 8. And then last but not least, over there on this side, we have Sebring in 8-man football falling to St. Mary's Central Catholic 40 to 6. Let's go up and get the rest of this last column here. Beaver Local, they get the win over Union Local. This was a close one again for a little bit, but then Austin Klein in that offense way too much. 53-26. Beavers beat the Jets. A good one happening in Berlin Center as Western Reserve does enough to beat Lowville 21-14, back-to-back impressive wins for the Blue Devils as they beat McDonald last week. They beat Lowville this week. That could be a big win for them going forward inside that MVAC standings because you got to think coming into the conference play that McDonald and Lowville were the two teams that you could think could give Western Reserve a fight at the top of the conference. Girard gets back on track with a pounding of Tuning Valley at Arrowhead Stadium, 42-6. Final score there. Look at Springfield. They go into Matthews, and they're all over the Mustangs, 71-6. Your final score there. We have Wyndham beating St. Thomas Aquinas, 29-6. Final score there. Bombers get another win on the season. That's their second. Ursuline all over Warren Harding. They gave up probably a couple more points than they would like, but 56-20, they beat the Raiders. And those are your final scores for the night. As we look ahead into week 6, we have a lot of exciting games, a lot of conference play. And you look at that NE8, I think we all knew that they would be stacked with good games. Mohawk and PA also getting the win over Riverside. Not the Riverside that Boardman played, but a different Riverside, 45-0. Mohawk, our PA representative in the YSN family, also getting the win. Thank you, Mike Swinehart, for that great addition to our scoreboard as we wrap it up. Right? We wrap it up the week 5 with a great amount of scores. Look at this. I mean, we had so many good games. We had 2 overtime games tonight. We had a couple more that went to the final play. Milton and McDonald, 1 possession game, 28-21. Western Reserve, Lowville. South Range Struthers went down to the wire. So did Columbia and Lisbon. So a lot of really good games tonight. And, even a couple of ones that maybe weren't expected to be as close as they were. East Palestine made this game against Valley Christian a 1 possession game in the 4th quarter. So that one was definitely one that we were keeping our eye on late in the game. So really good football in week 5. We brought it all to you with the audible call. We hit every game at least once, maybe more, and especially the games that were close in the second half. We definitely got up, and we definitely were able to get them up on the audible call. So what an exciting week 5. We thank you guys for tuning in. Make sure to hit up the overtime report on 21 WFMJ. It is going to be starting here, and let's see, about a little less than a half an hour. Little less than a half an hour, the overtime report on WFMJ will be starting, which is the 30th year of the overtime report. Our YSN scoreboard brought to you by Burnett Pool, Spas, and Hot Tubs. You can always find the live scoreboard for you, and they are the wonderful sponsors that give it to you. So we thank them for their great work, and we also want to thank you guys for tuning in. That'll do it for the Joe Dickey Electric Scoreboard Show, Week 5, wrapping up. We'll see you back here next week for Week 6. Mike Ackelson will make his return next week, and we'll have some fun. Thank you so much for tuning in tonight, and have a good rest of the weekend.